familia, it's Alex. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We're going to do something I have never done before, but since I decided this year not to do a mid-year inventory video, just because I wanted to do it in a yearly basis, and mainly because it gets so hot up here to do it in the summertime and pull out all my stuff, to be honest with you guys, I decided, I've been seeing this going around, I think this is a very, very good idea, considering I am an eyeshadow enthusiast. That's the main thing and then probably the only thing I purchase for myself if it comes to any makeup items. So today we're going to rank all the palettes that I have reviewed this year. So technically they've been brand new to me, not necessarily to the market, but brand new to me. So anything that I have reviewed from January 1st all the way to June 30th, no, July 31st, you guys, because I'm a little bit late to this. So I did add some of the ones in July. So 7 months, almost half the year of palettes. I have 16 in total, you guys. Some of them were not purchased this year. They were purchased last year, but reviewed this year. And I'm also including those in here. So I am going to share with you guys 16 palettes. I'm ranking them. This was torture, but I did it, you guys. It took me 3 days to get this done. If you're interested, stay tuned, my friends. If you're new to my channel, welcome to the familia. My name is Alejandra. I'm an eyeshadow enthusiast with a dash of Japan. That is something that interests you. Subscribe. Join us. And now let's get on with torturing my life. Alrighty, you guys know the drill when it comes to my ranking. These are not necessarily palettes that I'm going to get rid of. This is my personal preference. Basically, how I rank these were, if I were to choose one of these 16 palettes, which one would be the least one I reach for and which one would be the one that I reach for the most. So I pulled out all of the palettes that I have in front of me, my goodness. And I'm telling you, I cried at some of these because I love the formula. It's just I have to realistically think about the color story itself. And how often have I reached for it? How often have I thought about it? Would I think about it in the future? So on and so forth. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Number 16 goes to LA Girl Main Stage Desert Dream Palette. Now, this is one I reviewed back in like the winter time, almost springtime. This is what this palette looks like. I will do my best to have up close and swatches of everything. 16 palettes. Please give me a minute. This is going to take me a while. But this palette, somebody had to be at the bottom. And honestly, I love the color story of this and I love the concept. I just am not a fan of the formula. I feel like the mattes are very sheer and it's very hard to build them up. They blend away and the shimmers are beautiful, but they're super thick, super thick. You got to be careful. So this is a palette that I genuinely would consider decluttering, but it looks so mangled and looks like I run it over with a truck. If you look at it in person, you're like, oh my gosh, this palette looks used and abused. And it's not necessarily I've used and abused it. It's just the way the formula is. Very powdery, very crumbly. I know some people enjoy it. I am not a fan too much of this palette. I have tried other ones from this brand and they're a lot better. So I think it's just this palette in general. But I would definitely say out of all the palettes, this is the least one that I've thought about, the one that I actually would want to consider decluttering if I could find somebody, because I don't feel comfortable selling this. Number 15 goes to ColourPop Fade into Hue palette. You guys remember this? Now I did a palette bingo with this one. I kind of did all swatches. Oh my gosh, I'm just thinking about doing swatches of this palette again. This is not ColourPop's usual good formula that I love. The circle pans are a lot better than the square pans for whatever reason. This one I felt like it was a lot of hit or miss. Not all of them are created equal and not the whole entire palette is terrible. But every time I thought about this palette, I just don't have good memories with it. I like certain shadows in here. Some of the shimmers are very like thick and crumbly, like the last palette I shared with you guys. And some of the mattes don't really show exactly what you see in the pan, which kind of bothers me. I wish this red was an actual red, not a pinky red, if you know what I mean. So there is a few hit and misses, not to mention there is glitter in here. Some of us don't like the glitter. And it is square pans. One of the few palettes that ColourPop did that is square pans. If that is something that bothers you, that's another negative of this palette. I personally realize that the formula of this one is not as good as their other large palettes, as well as their smaller palettes. I feel like you can get a lot better quality with their smaller pans, or just curate it with their singles that sometimes they do pre-made in a Z palette. So This one's definitely number 15. Here's where it gets tough, you guys, because all the rest are great formulas. Just I had to decide what I would grab first over the next one. The next one, number 14, goes to Juvia's Place Blush Rose. You guys know I love my pinks and my mauves, but I'm not one that goes for them often. I have to be in the mood, and this one I think it's great formula. There's nothing wrong with this palette. It's just I honestly haven't reached for it as much. I really haven't. This color is my favorite one. This is the one that I've reached for the most. If I'm going to reach in this palette, is this one. Maybe possibly around Valentine's Day, I'll reach for this one a lot more, but I'm just not into pinks or mauves as often as other shades that I do enjoy. So there's no quality reason for this. It's just I don't reach for these color stories as often. Hence the reason why I don't buy a lot of pinky and mauve toned palettes. Number 13 goes to its sister, the Bronze Rustic. Now this one I would reach for more often than the Blushed Rose. The reason why this one's on lower in ranking is because it is not anything super unique in my collection. If I want a bronzy palette, I have quite a few of them, and I would probably reach for my Natasha Denona bronze palette over this one. But if I want something curated, this is a good one to have. The quality of this one is just as good, you guys. I really am enjoying it. This is in my pan those eyeshadows. You can clearly see I have yet to pan on any of these eyeshadows. It's going to take a while, but I think the formula is great. If you're looking for a small bronze palette, quick, easy, to the point, this might be your best friend. But for me, there's other ones I reach for over this one. All right, the next one breaks my heart, but I had to put it on here because it is true. I do not think about this palette as often as I wish, but the Give Me Glow Pastel Dreams palette. The quality of this is awesome. I love Give Me Glow. Let me make that clear. I love their formula. I think it's one of the best formulas out there when it comes to their matte and shimmers. They're really, really, really good, you guys. I have no complaints about them, and their customer service has gotten so much better as well. So I'm so happy for them. This palette, though, I don't reach for it as often. This is a palette where it's definitely a seasonal palette for me. Now, I don't care about separating my palettes into seasons. I'll just pick whatever whenever. But I do like to separate my palettes during season because it makes it fresh and new for me. You know what I mean? Like, oh, here's my summer palettes. I feel like they're all brand new kind of thing. That's why I like doing that. But this one specifically, I only think of like April. The month of April, and that's the end of that. That's the only time I'm ever going to reach for this palette is April. I don't know why, but that's what I do. This palette, I have to be pale. Like, I really can't get away with too many out of here right now, but I don't reach for it. I knew going into getting this palette that was going to happen, but I knew the quality was going to be as good, and hence why I've gotten rid of a few pastel palettes along the way, because I got this one. So that's why it's lower, not necessarily because of quality, but because of the color story. All right, the next one also has broken my heart. This one is the BH Blueberry Muffin. Again, not because of the quality, it's just the color story. I just know myself. This is a specific January palette. Like this, I can only see myself reaching for this in January. Quality is amazing, and I love the fact that I can do a look without blue being involved, because it happened to me in my palette bingo. It is stunning. I think it's one of my favorite blue palettes, period. But compared to the rest, I don't reach for this one. I'm not reaching for this right now. I'm not even caring about this color story right now. So that's why it's lower in the ranking, because of the color story for my personal preference, not necessarily the quality, guys. Just making that clear. Number 10 goes to the Menagerie Flight Club palette. Now the next three I flip-flop constantly over and over and over, but I think I got it down now. Again, the reason why this one is number 10 is because of the color story. I am panning that one, so I didn't want to show you guys my progress since it's been around 2 months. But it's the color story. I have enough purples in my collection. I do have quite a few. It's the quality of this that I love more than anything than the color story. And I would reach, if I do, my purple palettes, I probably would reach for this one over other purple palettes, but it's a purple palette. We have a lot of purple palettes. I have a lot of purple palettes, so that's why it's not really that unique for me. So that's why it is at number 10. Number 9 goes to its sister, Serenity palette. This one is a beautiful palette. I like this one a lot more than the Flight Club because of its uniqueness, of its color story. But if I'm thinking of a bright color story, this is not necessarily one that's popping in my head, I'm realizing. And it has nothing to do with the quality of it. I think it just has to do with me having to really sit down and think about how to mix these colors together. Not all the colors in here go together nicely. Some of them can look a little bit muddy with certain colors, so I do have to be careful with that. So that's why it's a little bit lower, not necessarily because of the quality or the colors. It's just I really have to sit down and think about this one whenever I do use it. Number 8 goes to Vivid Rose by Give Me Glow. Now this one, again, the quality is awesome, but whenever I see this palette, I think of either wedding season or Valentine's Day or a soft feminine look kind of stuff. This one, I actually would pick over my Flight Club or the Blushed Rose palette, actually. Hence the reason why it's higher up in the ranking. The quality of this is just really, really good. And I feel like this is not a true purple palette. You're getting pinks in here, you're getting mauves, and you're getting cooler tones, which I don't have too many of. So that's why I like this one a little bit more than the last 2 purpley pink palettes that I've ranked. The quality is great. I really like this one a lot more than the Flight Club as far as the color story, but I do like both. And I feel like maybe the shimmers of Give Me Glow are a little bit more my preference than they are of Menagerie, but not by much, because I think Menagerie is still good, but they're not as powdery. They're a lot more smooth in the touch. And if you own both formulas, you know what I mean. So that's why this one is higher. Number 7 goes to Nomad America's Parks. Now this one ranks higher because I do enjoy this color story. I can see myself using this color story a lot more than a lot of the ones that I've shared with you guys. Quality is really, really nice on this one. And I could do a lot of different looks and not necessarily have a look that really sticks out and it's very curated to a specific color story. It's a lot more diverse in that sense, and I really enjoy it, and I like the finishes of certain ones are not exactly like the other ones. So I'm getting different finishes as well to make my eye look more sparkly or more subtle or more shimmery, more metallic, so on and so forth. So that's why I ranked this one at number 7. Number 6 goes to the Shroud and It's Friggin' Bats palette. Now this one's a little bit higher. The quality of these is great. The only one that's giving me trouble still to this day is this shadow right here. And a lot of you guys have told me it has also given you trouble. So it's not just me. I feel like that shadow is not created equal compared to the rest. The color story of this is super unique in my collection. I do not own anything like this, and I love the quality. I really, really do. I think they have great quality. They just reopened their shop, and I am eyeballing 2 palettes. I'm just waiting. I'm giving myself a minute before I jump in and get more things from them. I want to enjoy this palette. I've only reached for it a few times because it is more of a winter palette for me. So I'm trying to wait till that time to be able to give this palette its glory, its time with me before I add any of its siblings to my collection. So I think it's great. This is why it ranks higher. The quality of this is really good, minus that one shade, but I'm forgiving it. And I love the color story. I think she did a great job with the color story. So that's why it's ranking a bit higher than the rest. All right, let's move on to the top 5, shall we? Number 5 goes to Give Me Glow Sweet and Sticky. If I'm going to choose a neutral palette to be up here with everyone, it's going to be this one. It's simple, to the point. I really enjoy it. I can use it all year round, have the warm tones, have the cool tones, have everything in between, 2 shimmers of 2 different undertones. I think she did a great job. 6 simple shades. Perfect, to the point, love it. And the quality, awesome. So that's why this one is at number 5. Number 4 goes to the BH Avocado Toast. This color story, it's just so cool. I really, really like this color story a lot more than the Blueberry Muffin palette. A lot of the other ones, it's just so much fun. I can use this around March, April for spring. I can use this during the summer and include it in the fall. Even in winter, like I think this is an all year round palette. You're getting all different variety of finishes. You're getting different colors to mix in. You won't really necessarily tell that you're wearing a green palette only. It's gorgeous. I really, really was impressed with this palette a lot. It's very, very good. I would choose this one over Blueberry Muffin, hands down. That's why it is number 4. All right. Top 3, you guys should not be surprised by these because I keep raving about them. I keep using them. I don't know what it is, but yeah. Number 3 goes to the Urban Decay Wild West palette. I just realized I have a big old scratch right there. That's how much I've been using it. This palette is just great, you guys. I used it in my last therapy session. I just love it. I really, really do. It's so much fun right now. I'm enjoying it. Don't judge me. I love it. Leave me alone. It's amazing. The quality. I wish all their palettes were this good because they struck gold with this formula. I think it's great, and I would absolutely feel confident recommending this to a beginner, somebody who's new to makeup. You're getting what you want. Cool tones, warm tones, some shimmers in there, and pops of color. You're getting everything in between for the everyday woman, not the YouTuber, but the everyday woman. There is a difference because what we think of on the YouTube world to be trendy is not necessarily what the rest of the outside world thinks. And I feel like if one of my neighbors who does not watch YouTube, most of them don't watch YouTube, don't even know I do this, if they were to ask me, I would recommend this palette, and I think they would be so, so pleased with it. Absolutely pleased, and they would know who Urban Decay is too, so definitely number 3. All right, you guys, I really want to have these as a tie because I can't decide which one of these two I like more. So we're gonna say 1 and 2, but I'm not gonna just pick 1 and 2. I just can't. It's just so good. These are my top 2. They're both my favorite, and I gotta tell you both. Kaledios and Natasha Denona Zendo. Both for different reasons, and I can't choose which one is 1 and which one is 2. I just really like both of these for very different reasons. For their color stories are good. One's more subdued, one's more a little bit brighter. You're getting the same amount basically of shadows. The quality of both of them is awesome. I really, really do like them. If you want something super shimmery and metallic in your face, you're going to go with this one. But if you want more subdued, I think this one's also good too. I like the cool tones and warm tones. I like the cool tones and warm tones. Like you guys, I can't decide which one. I love both of them. I could sit with these two for a long time sitting on my vanity and just playing around with both of these and be okay with it. No issues at all. I can come up with the greens, the bronzies, the warm tones, the cooler tones, the blues, you know what I mean? Like I could just mix these two palettes together and be in heaven. I love both of these. I can't decide which one's 1 and 2. Maybe you guys can decide which one is 1 and 2 for me, but these are my top 2 palettes so far of 2021, you guys. These are my top 2 palettes. So happy. This was my first time buying from Kaledios, and it was such a great experience. I have not purchased from them since because I want to enjoy this palette a lot more before I keep adding more palettes. And the Zendo palette, it's a different take from what Natasha Denona has been doing as far as her shimmers, and I can appreciate that. I can enjoy that. And I hope that now that we've heard this, you know, if you don't feel like it's worth the $65 for you, don't buy it. But if it is, it's still great quality. Her quality has not left the building, you guys. It's still there. Just know that you're getting cool warm tones, and just be careful mixing your cool and warm tones because you will get muddiness if you mix both of them. But you just split it. Split the palette. You're fine. Stop crying. You'll be good. That's it, you guys. Those are my top 2 palettes of 2021. That's what I have for you guys so far. I will do the second half in probably December to share with you guys. I do have some new palettes that I'm playing with that you guys have known about. I post all of my new palettes on my Instagram so you guys can continue to see what I'm bringing into my collection. And that way you guys are not left in the dark of any new palettes that I am bringing in. That is it, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching anything. All these palettes will be linked down below if they're still available for you to go enjoy and see if you want any of them. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today with me. I'll catch you guys in the videos on the screen. Until then, adios.